Now that we've introduced the list generic collection, let's go ahead and use it with LINQ to perform a LINQ query. Now, in this example, we begin by creating the list of strings called items, and again, we created it as a new list of strings. We're using the add method to add 4 strings to that list, and by the way, if you already know the items that you're going to add, you can use a collection initializer to create the list instead. So for example, let me just go ahead and type in another list here. If I could type, that would help. So list of strings, I'll call this one items 2. And if I say new list of strings, and instead of curly parentheses, if I use curly braces, that will allow me to specify values. So I can put a string, value 1, comma, value 2, and now I would have a new list of strings that contains these 2 strings right from the get-go in my code. So I can use a collection initializer, or I can use the add method to place items into the initial list here. So let's continue with the code that we do have. Notice, by the way, that we've gone ahead and used various uppercase and lowercase letters in the strings that are being added. They'll, of course, be added in the order that you see them here. And we did that to help demonstrate a new feature that we haven't introduced yet in LINQ. And that new feature is the let query operator, which we're going to take a look at here in line 21. Now basically what we want to do with this next query that we're going to look at is find all of the strings that start with the letter R in the results. So we have a starts with R query that we're defining, and we're going to go through all of the items in the list called items. And for each of them, we're going to create a new range variable called uppercase string using the let query operator. So this basically says right in the middle of a query, I want to define a new variable. And the new variable's type is going to be inferred from how you initialize it. In this case, item.toUpper says to the string object, give me back a copy of yourself in all uppercase letters. That is, of course, going to be another string. And therefore, the type of uppercase string is going to be string, because that's how we're initializing it, with a string object. So uppercase string is going to be the all uppercase version of whatever the current item is. And then in our where clause, we're saying check to see if that uppercase string starts with the uppercase letter R. If it does, this will return true, at which point we will use the order by clause to order the strings by their uppercase letters, and we will select that string as well. So only the ones that start with an uppercase R will be selected. Now, because we're selecting the range variable uppercase string, the results of this query will all be uppercase letters. Had I instead said select item here, then I would have gotten the original uppercase lowercase version of each of the strings that are in the result. Now, one of the things I haven't shown you yet is executing LINQ queries in the context of the debugger. As of right now, what we know is that until we actually iterate through the results, the query does not get performed. So I'm going to go ahead and set a breakpoint on the for each statement here and hit start. And it's going to stop at that for each statement. And notice in our locals window, one of the things it shows me is the starts with R query. And if I expand that, you'll see results view. Expanding the results view will enumerate the I enumerable. So right here at this moment in time, based on what's currently in the items collection and how we define the starts with R query, we can actually go look at what the query results will be. I can click to expand that, and now it just performed the query right here in the debugger, and it's showing me that I'm going to have 2 strings, red and rust, in all capital letters. And if I go back and look at the original strings, there's only 2 of them that start with R, rust and red. And notice what we're getting is those strings in alphabetical order in all capital letters. And again, the all capital letters is because of this where clause, this let clause, which is creating a new variable that gives me back the uppercase version of the current string. And they were ordered by those strings, which is why red is appearing before rust in the result. Now if I stop this for a moment, and let's say we select item here instead of uppercase string, and let's rerun it, Now when I expand the query and expand the results view, we see the original strings, but again in alphabetical order in a case-insensitive way. It doesn't care that it's a lowercase r or a capital R because of the way that we wrote the original code. So you can see by working in the debugger here, you can check the results that you're getting to make sure that in fact they are correct at any given time. So let me go back and change the code to the way it was before. All right, save that and rerun it. And now, of course, as we step through the code here, it's going to output these results. And let's stop there for a moment, and we can see red and rust being output as a result of the initial for each statement. Now what we're going to do next is add a couple more items to the collection. Now that means that we're modifying the original items collection. So let's just step over those two lines. And as I look at the items collection now, I can see that we just added ruby and saffron in that order. So we can see the complete collection right now. Now it collapsed the starts with R query here. If I expand this once again and expand the results view, what it's going to do is re-perform that query on the new contents of the collection. So the new contents include 6 items instead of 4. So if I expand that, we can see that there's now 3 results, red, ruby, and rust. We of course just added ruby a moment ago, and notice that the order of them is correct based on the current contents of the list collection. So not only are we showing you in this example that you can operate with LINQ on a collection object, in this case a list of strings, we're also showing you that you can change the data that you're manipulating on the fly. In this case, we're converting the string to all uppercase letters and then using that version of the string in the remainder of the query. And we've now proven to you this deferred execution concept by not only showing you the original query results in this first for each statement, but by modifying the collection and then performing the query results once again and showing you that indeed it was able to account for the changes in the underlying collection. In later lessons, we're going to take a look at LINQ in more detail as we introduce how to use it with databases and also with XML as well.